I'm Daemonxel, and it's time for your Eve Echoes Weekly News Update, where we dive into all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button and ring that bell, you too can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Okay, lately I've been getting a lot of requests on what's going on with my little pilot. So I'm happy to report he's doing fantastic. He is now just under 8 pounds and is your typical normal newborn. My wife and I have been trying to get him on a schedule, and we are adjusting to low sleep mode. Both my wife and I take care of him during the day, but as I work overnights, she gets the brunt of the wake-up feedings. Now, I take care of him when I get home from work before I go to sleep. He still has his heart monitor for another few weeks, and his surgeon says that his incision is healing very nicely. In a future episode, I will get some video of him answering the tough questions that are plaguing New Eden. Now, we did have our weekly maintenance with some optimizations while marching towards the new patch with the balance. However, we will get into that in a little bit, but let's see what we have in store this week as far as optimizations go. Number 1, and as always, they updated the estimated prices according to the current market transaction records. Like I said, this is going to be a weekly thing just to make sure that everything is accurate, or as close to accurate as they can get. Number 2 just lets us know that from the dates of the 22nd to the 28th, the test server will be open, and you'll be able to reset up to 100 million skill points. Basically, all of the skill points that you have. Now, number 3, tapping apply on the recommended fittings page no longer unfits your rigs. Now, which is a great thing because a lot of people have been losing a lot of money on expensive rigs just by a misclick. Number 4, they added a detailed description for monthly login rewards, late claim requirements. Number 5, the weekly estimated price listed in the market inventory contacts or trade logs will be calculated according to the price of the item's materials if a valid estimated price doesn't exist. So basically, if it's not on the market, they're going to see what it takes to make that item, and that item is going to be worth the materials going into it. Number 6, if your Corp Citadel access has been revoked and the Citadel is in nullsec, your items will be delivered to the nearest ITC. 7, after redeeming items from your corporation delivery hangar, you can now view the player who performed the action, the redeemed item, and the station involved in the wallet payment log. Basically, just a lot more transparency on what's going on. Number 8, a second contract can only be created after the first one has been confirmed by the system. Number 9, we'll be going into a little bit more detail later on. They added a new Corporation Industry mechanic. Now players with the following permissions, Corporation Industry and Corporation Hangar, can initiate industrial manufacturing or reverse engineering jobs directly using materials from Corporation Hangars. And number 10, a prompt will now pop up when the maximum number of damaged hulls is not used during reverse engineering. Nice little quality of life so that you don't waste data cores. And we all know when we fix something, we break several other things, but here are the 3 things that they fixed this week. They fixed an issue where the corporation recruitment page wouldn't display any info after leaving a corporation. They fixed an issue where players would be directed to the same channel they created when logging in with different characters from the same account. And number 3, they fixed an issue where ships with the ability to switch modes could not be placed back into the corporation hangar after assembly. And now the biggest thing this week, let's look at this hatchet job. I mean the balance changes being brought to the game. At this time, the test server is up and running to experience these changes before they go live. And brutal changes that they are. Now, there are new ships and changes to ships that have been made to the Tier 10. 47 new Tier X ships have been added to the game. Now, out of these 47, there are 4 new frigate explorers. You have the Heron Explorer, the Probe, the Magnet, and the Imicus. Now, before moving on, let's talk about scanning. It is a shame that scanning is not in the test server, but don't be worried. I know there's a rumor going around that the scanning is locked behind tier tech level 10. However, that's not the case. The devs have said before in a Q&A that all ships will be able to scan. However, some ships will be better than others. These 4 frigates will be specifically scanning vessels, but they are locked behind that tech level 10. Now, that does not mean that you will not be able to scan down your enemies in low sec or scan down anomalies. I really wish they would give us some more information about scanning, even though we've been begging them for the last several weeks, but c'est la vie. But note that in a couple weeks, when scanning does come out, you will be able to scan from any ship that you are flying. And it will rely heavily upon your skill in scanning. Among the other ships, there are Tech 3 levels of the bombers, there are Tech 3 level, Tier 3 level of the interdictors, there are Tier 2 versions of the destroyer assaults, you have Tier 2 level of your regular Tech level 4 cruisers, your Caracal, your Stabber, your Osprey, your Vexor. Your Covert Ops cruisers, they're Tech level 3s now. But the really nice thing is the introduction of the command ships. You have your Ferox 2 command, your Cyclone 2, your Prophecy 2, your Myrmidon 2. You have the Drake Guardian now, the Hurricane Guardian, the Harbinger Guardian, so attack battlecruiser Guardians. I mean, regular battlecruiser Guardians. Your attack battlecruiser Tech 3s will be coming out as well as Tech level 2, Tier 2 versions of battleships. And for your industry people out there, you have the Venture 4 and the Covetor 2. Now, among these, 9 ships have been removed from the game. Your Coercer, Catalyst, Cormorant, Thrasher, Covert Ops. So basically all the Covert Ops destroyers have been removed from the game. Your Ferox 2 Guardian, your Prophecy 2, Myrmidon 2, Cyclone 2 have been removed as well, those Guardians. As well as the much-awaited Maelstrom. And that's right, the Mimitar, you just lost that battleship, but the reason being is that it was scheduled to come out the same tech level as the Striker variant. So they nixed the regular so that you can now just get the Striker, which is a much better, beefier battleship. And because of the removal of the Maelstrom, you now get the Tempest too. Now, with this balance update and the patch, you are going to be getting large freighters. That's your Providence, your Fenrir, your Charon, and your Obelisk. Now, these are just freighters. There are no special hulls. They have massive amounts of cargo space to transfer, whatever. And the only difference between these ships are the bonuses, whether it be armor or shield variants, and the actual cargo holds themselves. Some are bigger, some are a little smaller. They introduced the command ships. They've added 4 command destroyers. Oh, and don't worry, we will be talking about destroyers in general shortly. You have your Dragoon, your Corax, your Algos, and your Tau War, all command ships. They've added Tier 9 command battlecruisers, the Prophecy, the Ferox, the Myrmidon, and the Cyclone. Now, modules. They are introducing the new command burst modules, which just basically made scouts worth doing again. More so. There are 3 variants. You have your shield command burst, you have your armored command burst, and your skirmish command burst. They've added new skills to the game. These 3 new skills that can enhance the effect of the command burst have been added. That's the shield command, armor command, and skirmish command. Those will directly affect those command burst modules. They added freighter skills such as operations, engineering, defense, and manufacturing. They added capital ship manufacturing skills and freighter manufacturing skills as well. And since we're talking manufacturing, they did add capital ship component manufacturing for blueprints for capital ship components. They're now available in the market on the test server. Capital ship components can be used to build freighters and will also be used to build capital ships down the line in future updates. Now let's talk about the hatchet job of the actual ship balance changes. Now, in general, all ships, shield, armor, structure have been increased by 5%, which is odd because one of the initial tweets that they put out was that they were upping the damage of most ships because battles were taking too long. But then we find out later on, which we'll get into, that they also upped the resistances of the rats. So basically they contradicted exactly what they said. Now, in general, the tier 10 ships, the shield, armor, and structure have all been increased by 7.1%. The velocity and signature radius have been decreased by 1.64%. A little love to the Tech 2 frigates, the Purifier, Manicore, Nemesis, and Hound. High slots have been increased from 3 to 4, and this honestly is a nice change and will add much more firepower to kill those miners much faster, or if you put on the torpedoes and go after bigger targets, kill those bigger targets faster. Now, on the Tech 2 variants of the interceptors, they have, for the life of me, I don't know why, buffed the hell out of them, as if they weren't already OP. And I say that as, a member of a team that goes out on these interceptor roams. They are too strong. But the change made is the advanced electronic warfare now increases your warp scrambler and disruptor optimal range by 6% per level instead of 5%. So that's another total 5% for all the skills that you do. Advanced frigate command weapon damage bonus increased from 15 to 17.5%. For the life of me, I don't know why they needed to buff interceptors, since in essence they are OP right now. And a personal love of mine, we now see the death of a ship class, the destroyers. In general, they increased the shield, armor, and structure by 4.55%. They increased flight velocity by 15.55%, which is okay, but what they really need to do was mass reduction. Someone did the math on the change, and it amounts to roughly about an additional 60 ms. Basically, you can, with a small afterburner or small micro warp drive, you go the same speed as a cruiser using a small micro warp drive or a small cruiser. It's stupid. Now, the joy of my game, I know they have it listed as interceptor class, but it is the interdiction destroyers. The high slots have been reduced from 4 to 2, basically halving your DPS. Those slots have been increased from 3 to 4, shield, armor, and structure increased by 5.88%, they sped it up by 7.14% for the velocity, and they decreased the signature by 4.25%. So basically, in essence, you're neutering the interdiction class DPS-wise. You are now just utility. More tanky, yes, but I don't remember anyone ever saying that destroyers needed less DPS. They did a hatchet job to the Tech Level 6 sniper destroyers. Your mid slots are now reduced from 3 to 2, and your low slots increased from 3 to 4. Your assault destroyers, mid slots increased from 2 to 3, but your low slots increased from 4 to 3. So, less tank. So, again, like I said, for me, the death of the destroyer class. Thank you again, devs, for giving me a reason to completely respec out of destroyers. Let's move on to the other joy of my life, the interdictor heavy cruisers. Your tier 10 variants, the Mauler, the Moa, the Rupture, the Thorax. Your bonus from the advanced propulsion jamming, the radius, has been increased from 5% to 10%. Now, the other thing about the heavy interdictors is they completely neutered them. That's right. They have had all their high slots reduced by 2. So your Thorax interdictor, which used to have the 5 highs, now only has 3. Your Hicks that you're flying now, your RB and whatever, they all got a hatch job as well. You used to have 4 drones as well as 2 highs. Now you get 2 drones and 1 high slot. So basically all you are now is utility. So again, thank you for recycling those skill points back to me, because I'll now be reskilling out of bubbles. Thank you for destroying my hopes and dreams. Let's move on to battleships. The Typhoon. The bonus to large missile torpedo explosion velocity has been increased from 5% to 7.5%. The Daemonxel. The current Daemonxel we're flying now has been nerfed. Your bonus to drone damage from 40% is now 35%. The reason for this is because they felt they needed to make a tier level 10 Daemonxel, the Daemonxel 2, which basically has the same exact bonuses as the current one we're flying right now on the live. The only difference between this one and that one is the Tech 2 one has the 40% bonus, as well as, I think it's roughly about 10,000 more EHP base, and your power grid is slightly higher. Your Maelstrom Striker, the bonus to the large cannon tracking speed, has been increased from 7.5% to 8%. The Raven Striker got a slight reduction to the damage from 5% to 4%. The Apocalypse Striker has had the damage reduction from 10% to 8%. The Megathron Striker, again, reduced from 5% to 4%. Now, the new Tech 10 ships have been completely buffed to the point where they're almost faction level. You have your Hyperion. Now, the skills have been changed from the Large Railgun Operation and Battleship Command to Advanced Large Railgun Operation and Advanced Battleship Command. But you now get a increased railgun damage of 10% and fall-off range of 7.5%. And you also get increased repair amount of 7.5% per level. Same change with the Rogue, the skill-wise, and you get a buff to your damage by 10% and your optimal range by 12.5%, as well as your ship resistance by 4%. The Abaddon also sees the same changes, damage up by 10%, optimal range 7.5, and increase the ship armor resistance up by 4%. Industrial ships, the Badger, Sigil, Reef, and Nereus 2, now have 50% more inventory capacity. Now, they did do a little buff to armor. I haven't really been able to play with it. Some people are saying it's great, some people are saying it's negligent because of the power grid requirements, but let's take a look. The efficiency of all armor reppers, remote armor reppers, group armor reppers have been increased by 10%. Your adaptive armor hardeners up by 33%. Your reactive armor hardeners effect is up by 6.25%. The power grid and capacitor consumption increased based on all modules is by meta level. Basically increased per meta level. They reduced the explosion velocity of all large rapids from 81 millisecond to 70. They buffed the damage of all beam and railguns by 10%. The damage dealt by missiles, cannons, and decomposers have been increased by 4%. They reduced the shield resistance bonuses of the shield field modules based on meta level. The signature radius adjustment for actively shield field modules, they increased from 500% to 5,000%. It really doesn't matter, you're taking all the damage anyway. The effective range and damage transfer rate has been adjusted based on the meta level. Modules with lower meta level will have lower range and transfer rates, while others will have higher range and a higher transfer rate. The Armor Link modules will distribute the damage before applying armor resistance. The large Armor Link modules will have larger damage transfer rates than before. Now, this just means that they fixed the Armor Links on how they should have been working this entire time in the game. Now, one thing I'm not seeing in here, but it is on the test server and you can see it for yourself. They did do a change, which was really needed for the large group shield boosters now have power grid requirements. You're not going to be able to fit them on your frigates anymore. So they really are wanting to move towards ships of a certain class using that class's modules. No more overfitting. Which is really good because, I mean, a lot of interceptor fleets were running these, a lot of other fleets were running these, and it basically just made warfare longer. I like the changes. It really was needed. The module itself was OP. Now, they did also adjust the PvE settings. They fixed an issue where the resistance modules of NPC pirates were not taking effect. The pirates of these modules now have slightly increased resistances. So basically, they boosted the resistance on rats. They started using the penalty for modules such as afterburners and micro warp drives, so they will now decrease in velocity, so they fixed that issue. They're upping the bounties for Angel Cartel pirates, which was needed. That's going to be more in line with the other bounties. They added NPC pirates equipped with such a dead afterburners, so we'll actually see those modules drop now. They adjusted bounties on several NPC camps to match their difficulty. They adjusted the bounties on several encounter missions to match their difficulty. And that's your changes. Just know that your devs are listening, but just choose to ignore every suggestion that you make. Now, something to actually look forward to in the near future is a Corp Industry feature to manufacturing. That's right, you can now select a Corp tab to run manufacturing and reverse engineering jobs for the corporation itself. Using this will take the blueprint and the materials for the build directly from the corporation hangars. Now again, this is going to be used via those special corporation roles that need to be assigned to you. Otherwise, if everyone was able to do it, we'd be seeing corps bankrupt left and right across New Eden. It's a great quality of life change that was needed to cut down on the massive audit timers plaguing the game today. I was contacted by Exekiel, and he is back to making these Sov maps that you love so much. And since we hadn't talked in about the last 2 weeks, let's take a peek at the map. Let's see what everyone has currently. Pantheon is sitting pretty with 45 Sov points. ACR with 22. The Silent Federation also has 22. The Quasar Coalition 17. The Veil Coalition 14. The Providence Coalition 11. Catch 22 has 6. The OG Empire has 6. Warp has 6. Void has 5. Red Machine 4. And this Chinese Alliance, which I will not take a stab at, 4. And Genesis with 3. As always, you can find a link to Exekiel's GitHub in the description of this video with up-to-date maps. He also publishes these maps weekly on Reddit. This week in your Plex market report, we briefly saw Plex rise to just over 1.7 million per Plex, but has since come back down to 1.6. It has been touching back and forth between the 1.7 mark and the 1.6 mark for the last couple of days. With the recent announcement of the buff to rails and lasers, we have seen a run on the market and a market spike on these modules. The war in the south continues as Pantheon are still deployed within Mother and Void territory. Genesis has also seemingly moved to CTAC-J. Shield timers have been traded all this week on both sides as interceptor roams were sent out to wreak havoc behind enemy lines. The most notable event this week has been on a CTA call from Pantheon to its allies to rally and take down a Red Machine Citadel coming out of a hull timer. On 420, the Pan-Fed forces raised a fleet in excess of 400 to take this structure down. The station itself was not defended and was told to the Content Coalition not to bother defending as its occupants were moving closer to the Alliance. And yes, they actually said they didn't want that Citadel. This led to a lot of blustering on both sides this week as I myself was seemingly pulled into that web of debate and propaganda spin. Myself, I seemingly was called out and insinuated that I was picking a side and to remain unbiased as I must not comment on the happenings across New Eden. First and foremost, I am a player first and I am allowed to have an opinion and even voice that opinion. I will not, however, supply this opinion on the show. Here I will always be unbiased and go off the facts. My statement in the thread was just to get the information that was told to line pilots about that said Citadel. I was asked for information and proof to show exactly this, and leadership was kind enough to declassify this screenshot of Red Machine leadership telling the Content Coalition leadership not to defend it. Also, Pantheon has access to the Content Coalition joint Discord and does show off the printouts of the conversations there through spies. While the forces were amassing in CTAC-J for the CTA, everyone on the Content Coalition Discord was discussing how it was not going to be defended. Let's get back on topic. The Red Machine Citadel was taken down by Pantheon and Genesis forces and thusly removed a soft point of the map from the Content Coalition itself. Now, we are learning that Pantheon did have a good time during the CTA as they played karaoke to and from the Citadel Kill. However, sources close say that tensions were frayed as Kyle Wren, a Honk representative, started to play the Banana Song and a selection of shitty flutes across the channel. This week we take a look inside one of the premier corps inside Genesis Federation, NOIR. A former member of NOIR's Spec Ops division tells me he was kicked from the Corp after addressing the membership fee program in a public forum. Since February, NOIR has been running a pay-to-play sorts of to be a member. $15 million a week on your main and $5 million a week for your alts. What this member says is that the membership fee can be subsidized by 3 kills a week of double the amount of the fee or 30 million plus. The fee can be paid also in either ISK or materials. This fee is to provide access to the NOIR outpost in 6EK, as well as provide protection during ratting. This citadel is owned by Karinsky's right-hand man Gene, who sees to the day-to-day operations. The former member, however, states that they received no special protection and leadership always ran their own private routing parties. I have asked if this fee covers any special NOIR doctrine ship, and I was told no, that every new Alliance member is usually given out a doctrine VNI, and the ones kept in the Corp hangars were for SRP once per month. This too, I am told, fell to the wayside, as since insurance was introduced, new members were told to insure the ships before undocking to cover their losses. I had asked if this fee runs in conjunction with the Corp tax. I am told that the tax rate is either at 0 or 100%, depending if a CTA is ongoing. The member also states that since war, the tax has been 100% 3 to 4 times per week. This ex-member ultimately was removed from the corporation for taking this to the Eve Echo's official Discord to expose it, and the leadership felt embarrassed by it. This member is quoted in saying that he is happy to be out of the Genesis cult, where they run ISK raffles to fund leadership with faction battleships. Now, I reached out to Kerensky for comment, and I was told, we removed the tax from the Corp so it would not disproportionately impact the Ratters, and everyone else essentially didn't pay. I was paying our Corp tax to Alliance out of pocket or using ratting tax from people who made the ISK. Our CFO, Gene, came up with the dues idea. It keeps everyone honest and active. It keeps our numbers purely to accounts in use. As for pyramid scheme accusations, I have personally donated multiple billions to the Corp, and my XO Amaran has donated easily 15 billion to the Corp by himself, not including ships he has provided to people for free. I pay the Corp taxes still from my wallet. Occasionally I pay member dues, as do the other leaders. Everyone can see the wallet. The funds are used for SRP, structures, and for saving for future projects. The man-child who cried to you is just trying to stir shit. Some of our players, like myself, pay more voluntarily than our required dues. Now, additionally, I have learned that Kerensky has just had a newborn recently, and I would like to congratulate him on his new child and a new addition to his family. Now, personally, I can see both the pros and the cons to a program such as this, as it weeds out inactive players, and an active player base is vital in a PvP corporation. However, if one can only log in for a short time a day, during war times, I could see how funding that fee could pose as a challenge. I'd like to give a little shine to a newish content creator, AZ Echoes Art, who has an Instagram page with some really lovely pieces. If you would like to see some of the great pics, check him out. A link to his Instagram will be in the description below. This week, no, please stop. Found a Providence Coalition Citadel was coming out of Holtheimer, and they had assembled a defense force of 140 to defend. No planned on hitting the Citadel with their fleet of 60, and in the face of 2-to-1 odds, they decided to take the fight. The fight on the station lasted 18 minutes, resulting in the eradication of the defense fleet, including 4 faction battleships, 2 Nightmares, 1 Balgorn, 1 Macari. During the engagement, 1 no pilot made it their mission to keep the station timer paused, and at the end of the fight, the timer still had 14 minutes, 57 seconds left. No decided that because the Providence Coalition took the fight and fought well, it would only be fitting to salute the good fight by leaving their citadel intact. No loss numbers were provided by No during this engagement. This week on Reddit, we have seen an uptick in the low-effort memes and trolling. Some of these posts this week made me yearn for remembrance of the memes and trolling at the height of the Terran Federation War. I understand not everyone can have the gold standard of honk-style posts, but can we just put a little more effort into our shit posts? The Corp Alliance spotlight this week goes out to the NEEC Alliance. The NEEC Alliance is looking for English-speaking corporations. Yes, it's a Chinese-based alliance. We need people who do appreciate the fact that no matter where you are from, you respect others the same way you would like to be treated. No, communication is not a barrier. Many people speak English, and the EU-based corps can also help. We feature a heavy PvP and industry type of game. Every pilot is expected to defend their land when it's needed, and participation is rewarded in points which can then be turned into for ISK or other privileges, boosting your industry or your wallet. We also do daily PvP roams into hostile territories and bounty hunting for extra alliance points. Our motto can be summarized in one word: honor. Multiple NPC stations and citadels are available to start your empire in. Alliance-level ship manufacturers and discounts if your corporation does not have industry. A family-like atmosphere even with the cultural differences. A stable alliance since beta. And much, much more. If you are interested or want to know more about what we can offer you, PM me on Discord. I will have his Discord contact information below in the description. Now, a new section this week is the Bounty Board. And on this bounty board, a fresh warrant has been issued from Act 3436. I got a bounty for you freelancers and anyone else who wants to get in on the action. His name is Zadi. He likes to rat and mine in Lowsec around his home station in Placid. He's no longer in BSO. He got kicked out after trying to sell the location of their player-owned station to the Golden Horde. As a corp, we have a bounty on him, so the total bounty on him is 200 million plus 30% for the first kill, and 100 mil plus 30% for each kill after that. He is now in a corp that is blue to Genesis. His CEO is aware of his previous actions and understands the bounty. He will not escalate anything if a blue on blue kill happens. So that's right, if you're in Genesis, you can kill him too. I will have Axe contact information below in the description if you want to take up on this bounty. Also, do you have a bounty you want issued? Send me the info and I will put it on the bounty board in each week's show. Alright, first things first, because of the test server being launched this week, I will not be showing any kills between the 22nd and the 28th, as there is no way to differentiate between the live and the test server kill mails. This leaves it nice and even for everyone, otherwise I get kills like this one, this 27 trillion ISK Charon kill. It's just obnoxious. Also, I need your help. Frequent winner and Honk Employee of the Month, Badran, has donated a Cinnable hull to be given out on the show. I need some ideas on how this gift should be won. Put down in the comments on what you would like to see this prize given out for. Now, not that many big kills submitted this week that were not part of another story. Only two really. To start us off, we have this 5.1 billion Terra kill. And to cap off big kills of the week, we have this 15 billion Rattlesnake kill. And now for everyone's favorite, the solo kills of the week, and a chance at a free Omega combo. We have two honorable mentions this week. The first one goes out to Pyric Ortez. I'm sorry, I butchered that name completely, but bear with me. With this 1.5 billion Procurer kill, and I know it's not a solo kill, but the victim actually requested this to be shown on the show. The second honorable mention goes out to Zero. Now, sometime back, Benzi had made a video about an interceptor killing Tau War Assault. And no disrespect to him, but Zero was like, challenge accepted. So I give you this 410 million Tau War Assault kill. Now, for the actual contest. And because there was not a lot of kills submitted for the big kills of the week, I decided to include everyone that sent me a solo kill this week. To start us off, we have X with this 1.104 billion Daredevil kill. Next we have Sen Newts with a 1.316 billion Procurer kill. Himba Good Boy with his 1.345 billion Succubus kill. Vetamune with a 1.419 billion Daredevil kill. Lurk has a 1.9 billion Tornado kill. Noxmaster comes in right after that with a 2.225 billion Daemonxel kill. McCain with a 2.357 billion Cinnable kill. Silver after that with a 3.6 billion Cinnable kill. Our first runner-up is Ziggy's Duck, Badran's protege, with this 4.082 billion Bestower kill, and with an Outpost drop. And the winner this week, and the winner of the free Omega combo, Inspector Maxim with a 4.5 billion Badger kill. Alright, Inspector Maxim, hit me up on Discord. We'll get with your details, and we will get that Omega combo out to you. Now, if you need more news in your life, I suggest you go over and check out Rambo's Echoes of New Eden podcast with interesting interviews every week with influential people throughout New Eden. So, fly safe, have a great week, have a great weekend, and remember, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front. Fly safe.